Hey guys, we're here again today at HardRacing, working on our Kawasaki Z125 Pro project bike. And today we're going to be installing this PowerCommander V and auto tune on the bike. PowerCommander is fuel controller. It allows you to change the mapping for the fuel to make the bike run more efficient, a little faster acceleration. You can also raise the rev limit on it to increase a little more if you want to get some more off the top end. There's a whole bunch of modules you can add onto it that we have shown here. The PowerCommander is the fuel module by itself, and then all these are extra add-ons you can put on top of it, which makes it a really nice expandable product. Some of the key features of the PowerCommander itself: obviously controlling the fuel mapping. You can also adjust the ignition timing mapping as well, which is a huge bonus on the little bikes like these, because like on the Grom it gained up to I think 10% more horsepower, which is like a lot for just advancing the ignition timing about 4 to 6 degrees. So that's really important for a little bike like this if you're trying to squeeze every little bit of power out of it so that you can keep up with traffic. You also, like we said, you can raise the rev limit on it. You can add the modules, the POD display, which is an LCD display. You can add the auto tune to a self map. You can do a wideband if you wanted to, 2 different style of quick shifters, and a map selection switch as well. And that, for those I'm not sure what that means, is basically you can have 2 maps stored in the PowerCommander at the same time, and you can flip between the maps with that toggle switch. So basically, if you had one map, let's say for lower altitude, and say you were going up to the mountains and you had a separate map for high altitude, or if you lived around 1,000 feet and you're going down to sea level, or if you had a street map and then a race map, or just a fuel efficient map for commuting to work, and then one more aggressive for the weekends to going in the corners. Pretty much limitless options of what you want. But if you wanted to store and have 2 maps, you have that option to flip that switch between the 2 of them. It's kind of a nice feature. The POD 300 display allows you to store multiple maps in there, along with change certain settings on the PowerCommander as well, out and about, instead of having to plug it into a laptop. That's also really a nice feature. The auto tune and the wideband are basically very similar units. The auto tune allows you to self-map the PowerCommander. Basically, you install this wideband sensor into your exhaust, and then it monitors the air-fuel ratio, and then you can set it to a target ratio that makes the most power, and it will build a map for you. And the beauty of it is it actually will do it live time. So if you just don't have time to get back to your laptop and you just want it to make you a map while you're out riding, it will do that. Then when you get back later on, you can look at the trim tab settings and see how much it's changed it, and you can permanently apply those to your map. As you permanently apply those, your map will get better and better to be just about perfect for your settings. But the nice thing is, as you continue to ride, say you went out and got some different gas, or it was a lot cooler conditions, or you went up into a higher altitude, this thing will continue to live update your map for specific settings while you're riding around. You don't have to always go back to a laptop and change it or adjust it. So if you happen to stop somewhere and get some different gas that runs totally different than what you used to have, maybe it's got more ethanol or less ethanol, or maybe it's really cold today and you got a lot more oxygen in the air, that will continue to adjust your map to run perfect while you're out about riding around. So that's a really nice option. And then of course you have the quick shifters. And what quick shifters do is they allow clutchless wide open throttle shifting. So to really show you how a quick shifter works, it's best to do a little video snippet here. Just notice the rider's left hand on the clutch. He never pulls in the clutch, and you'll never hear him let off the gas as he upshifts through the gears. So now he's downshifting. Now watch, left hand never moves. So you're still shifting with your foot, but you never have to pull in the clutch and you never let off the gas. You may be wondering what's the difference. This one basically would work for your stock rear sets because you don't have a true shift linkage. So you would mount this on the front of the bike, and then this goes into your pedal. And then this one, they basically do the same thing, it's just they go a different way of doing it. And this one is a push-pull sensor type. There's either a push or a pull, one or the other depending on what kind of rear sets you have. And that basically replaces the linkage in the rear sets. Depending on what rear sets you have, you may need to add a little bit of a rod on the end of it, but that goes in the linkage system instead of this type, which actually mounts to the bike and then that goes off of the pedal. So basically both devices, again, they do a similar thing, they just go about it doing it differently, and it all just depends on if you have stock rear sets or aftermarket. And either way, we will explain it to you and help you with it if you're not sure which one you need to get. But basically they allow you to hold the throttle wide open and just pound through the gears without pulling in the clutch and without ever letting off the gas to get maximum acceleration. If you've ever watched drag race bikes or road racing bikes, MotoGP, World Superbike, AMA, 99% of everybody has a quick shifter because it's the fastest way to get through the gears without ever letting off the gas. And you may think, well, I don't have a big bike, why do I need that? If anything, it's even better for little bikes because think about it, how much slower your bike is than a big one. So if you have to let off the gas, pull in the clutch and shift for like a quarter second, half a second, all that time, that little tiny motor, now you got to get right back on it and it can barely move you along. Whereas if you have a 200 horsepower bike, it's not as big a deal because the bike's already got so much power to get you accelerating. So for little bikes, to be able to stay on the gas full throttle the whole time is a huge bonus. And all it takes is just trying it one time, hitting the interstate or an entrance ramp or a stoplight, and you just gun it and just pound through the gears, never let off the gas, never pull in the clutch. It's just a great feeling. We even use it when we're cruising around sometimes. We'll just too lazy to reach for the clutch, just pound through the gears, no problem. So all these, of course, again, are additional modules that you can add to the PowerCommander. Today we're going to show you how to install the PowerCommander and how to install an auto tune and tie them together and be able to make your own custom map that's specific for your bike with your modifications, where you live and the gas you use, etc., etc. Because at the end of the day, there is no magic map that works for everybody everywhere with every condition. Every specific bike with every specific mod done to that bike, where they live, what the altitude is, what the temperature is, what the gas they use, all that has to come into play. And the only way to get the best map is to either make one yourself or dyno tune it. And the reality is this is less expensive than a dyno tuning, plus it will constantly be updating your map to the best performance your bike can have no matter what. And one other nice thing about the PowerCommander, they will have a map database that they build over time that has different exhaust combinations with intakes. It's obviously not going to be perfect for, again, like we said, for every bike, but it is something for those of you that just want, hey, just give me a map that's pretty darn close, or at least that's the exact same exhaust I have, so I can get it in there, I can put the map in my PowerCommander, I can go out and ride, and I'll be fine. And that'll get you about 90-95% optimum. You know, obviously at the end of the day, like we said, the best map is the one you make yourself, but it is nice to have a map database to at least get you started, at least get you where pretty darn close. No matter what, it's going to be way better than running without any kind of fuel controller whatsoever. So that's another nice little feature that you get with PowerCommanders, are the map database, and it constantly grows. And of course, people will share their maps, and we'll have extra maps here in addition to those that we're going to build ourselves. So that's another thing that a nice bonus. And next we'll show you how quick and easy it is to install this PowerCommander. Right, so first step you want to do is go ahead and pull off the seat and then pull off the side panels on both sides. Go this up here. Basically a couple screws, a little push pin here. The nice thing is this can all be pulled off in one piece. You don't have to disconnect these two. So once you release the screws here, down here, pop the push pin there, it pops off, it all comes off in one nice little piece. And do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so once you got those panels off, next step, pull out the PowerCommander. It's really easy to install, simple, straightforward. It's just got some OEM plugs and then some spade connectors. Everything's OEM, and then there's one gray wire here that you tap the throttle position sensor with a little posi tap, real quick and easy. You're not actually cutting anything or splicing, it just taps into it. I'll show that real quick. Alright, so next you want to go ahead and put the PowerCommander in here and basically run the wire harness down through here, keeping it inside. SRD, get that out of the way. And basically run it along here, keeping it inside the tray. And then along here. And basically all your spade connectors and your ground are going to be right around this ignition coil. And then your injector plug goes underneath over to the injector. Now obviously we have a Chimera, so our air box is missing. If you have your stock air box, you will need to remove that to get it out of the way so you can access the injectors. Alright, so next you want to go ahead and pull this bottom wire. It's red if you look behind the boot. And take these two red wires here. And one is going to go into that wire. Obviously make sure that the boot completely covers over the connection and make sure it's in there nice and solid. Push it all the way in and work it over the black boot there so it won't come off. And then the other end will go on the bottom of the ignition coil. And make sure it's again on there all the way. And that's the red wire. And then on the top, right here, we've got the green plug. And same concept. Spade goes into there with the green wire. Slide the boot up and over the stock rubber boot so that it gets a nice good seal. Basically just twist it on there. Slide it all the way up, and then take the other end and slide it onto the coil. And again, make sure it's all the way up there, nice and snug. And just tuck them up out of the way. And then you've got your ground wire right here. It's going to go onto your ground. Just put it behind it and screw it back in. Alright, so now you're all done on this side. All that's left is the injector plugs and the crank sensor plugs on the other side. Alright, now on the left side of the bike you should have your crank position plugs and injector plugs, and basically underneath this rubber boot right here is your cover. Right there's your boot, and you'll see 3 plugs under here, 2 large ones. The boot just always wants to open it and close itself back over. So you'll see 2 large ones, and then this third middle one that's kind of small. Obviously this can only plug into this one here, so make sure Don't just start unplugging whatever. Make sure you're pulling off the little one right here. Take the crank plug, and one end goes in there. Push it till it clips. And then the other end goes in there. Push it till it clips on. And pull the boot back down. Stick the wires up in there. Don't have to cram it in there, but that's why I keep it tucked up out of the way. And then the last ones are your injector plugs. Alright, and now you go to the farthest plug right here. This gray one. That's your black fuel injector right here. And that's your plug for it. You just press in on the release and pull off. Take the PowerCommander plug it back on there till it clicks. Plug the other end into the PowerCommander. Make sure you've got it orientated correctly. That little tab going on the same side as the clicker, and press it till it clicks. And then all that's left now is your TPS sensor wire. Alright, and the last step, go ahead and press the button in on the release, pull your throttle position sensor plug off. That's the bottom one down here, the bigger one. Pull that off, and you want to access the middle wire. You see it's yellow with white. There is also a yellow with blue. You don't want that one. You want the middle wire, yellow with white. And all you're going to do is just install a little posi tap on that, run the gray wire to that, and you're good to go. Here's the easiest way to install the posi tap. With the push button facing out, take the little end off of it, push it through the middle yellow wire. Again, the middle yellow wire. Take the red part, screw it on the back, and you'll see basically it's just spearing the wire. No damage, no cutting it, no unsheathing it or anything. It just spears a little tiny hole in it. Nothing big. Worst case you ever had to take this whole thing off, all you do is just unscrew it, no big deal. It'll be a tiny little pinhole in it. You could always put a little piece of electric tape over it, no big deal. So all you're doing is you're just slowly screwing that in until it's nice and snug. And now it's pierced the wire. And then all you do is take the other end and take the little boot, slide your gray wire into there, have the wire exposed, and you're just going to kind of shove it in there so it gets a nice good contact with the other end of it, and just tighten it down. That's it. It's as simple as that. Make sure it's nice and snug. When you're done, you'll give the wire a little tug to make sure it doesn't come out. And that's it. No big deal. And then you take the plug and plug it in. All good. Tuck these up out of the way. And that's it. It's that simple. All OEM plug, one little quick posi taps, and you're good to go. One last step. Alright, so on this side, you normally will have your O2 sensor going from here down to your exhaust. The PowerCommander does away with that, and instead includes this little optimizer. All you're going to do is put that in there. That's it. Now the PowerCommander has full control over everything, and that won't have any issues. And that's how quick and easy it is to install the PowerCommander onto the Z125. Alright, so next you would go ahead and plug in your PowerCommander to the laptop. Again, this is all optional. You don't have to do this. We'll preload a map for you if you want, and you can just install the PowerCommander and go ride. But if you want to tinker with it, if you want to play with it, if you want to check it out, You can go into the PowerCommander, plug it in, pull up a map, look at the map, see the changes on it. As you can see here, even with a stock exhaust, stock bike map, it still has fuel changes to make the bike run better that Dynajet's already taken the time to do. And you can go to the ignition map here, and here's where you can go through and advance the ignition timing to get more horsepower. All this stuff can be completely customized by the customer if you like, or you can just go out and ride and enjoy it. A much better, smoother running bike. This is where you can also go into the features. Hit Control F for features, and this is where you can activate your map switch, your quick shifter, your accelerator pump, your startup fuel. Some of you guys are having issues starting up your bike in the bone stock trim. It just doesn't want to start right. You can go in here and tweak these settings so that the bike will start easier, which is definitely a nice thing. You can come in here and do the rev extend, which would be your higher rev limiter if you want that. Turn on your auto tune features, launch control. Yes, you can actually do launch control on these little things, all totally customizable. And just in case you're actually letting your child use this, a younger child, and you didn't want them to go very fast, maybe 30 mile an hour or something, you could set up the speed limiter feature as well. All this stuff totally customizable by the customer, configure the way you like it, lots of options. That's the beauty of the PowerCommander. There's lots of options, totally customizable, and lots of add-ons you can put with it as well. If you order it from us, we can preload it with a map for you that will have as close as possible to the same matched modifications that you have. And again, we'll have upcoming videos that are going to show the auto tune module plugged in and how to self-map. We're going to show the quick shifter plugged in, how to have wide open clutchless shifting, and the PODs and all that good stuff. So if you enjoyed our video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. We really appreciate your support by subscribing to our channel. And if you have any other questions, comments, we are on Facebook, Instagram, we're on the forums, and of course you can always check us out at HardRacing.com, and we'll get you taken care of.